Featuring over 1,000 artists from over 200 tribes, the Santa Fe Indian Market, organized by the Southwestern Association for Indian Arts, is the largest and most prestigious Native American art market in the world.
My name's Aspen. I'm his daughter.
Good morning. My name is Julian. I'm the artist here for the 101th anniversary, 101. And I'm Dine, Navajo, from a small community north of Gallup, New Mexico. So I'm the artist here. And this bracelet that you see that my daughter is modeling, it's a coral, Mediterranean coral. With I cast it out of cuttlebone fish. So this is the cuttlebone. If you don't know what a cuttlebone fish, this is a cuttlebone. It's easy to cast. It's like styrofoam, and I got this piece into something new that I did, and I love working with the cuttlebone because it's easy to carve. And then the bracelet that she has on. It's made of Mediterranean coral with 14 karat gold bezel and 24 karat gold fold. And the bracelet, the cuttlebone, I made it of a 99.9 silver coin. So it's all silver. And this particular piece comes from this piece right here. So I carved it, I cast it, and you can see the beautiness of this piece right here. A low squash blossom, petroglyph, 24 karat full, and a high grade caracolate. And I made a bail for it, textured the bail, and it's a pendant. You can wear it with your necklace. Like you can put it on a chain, a leather.
Or with Navajo pearls.
Everything I did, it's all handmade. No really technology, no laser work, no water jet cutting. It's all done by Copeland saw hand. And I love doing the old style traditional jewelry. You go to jewelry store, you buy your supplies. They come in sheets, and then you just go from there and fabricate your jewelry. And the design, it's all I would say it's all in here. I don't draw up my design. My father, he was a master silversmith and goldsmith. His name was Julian Chavez, Sr. I remember doing this piece when he used to sell over at New Mexico State Fair in the 1970s. And this piece, I helped him do this piece. We create a whole set, squash blossom, the bracelet, the ring, the earring, and I remember him selling the whole set at New Mexico State Fair for $2,100, and that was a lot of money back in 1970. I created this piece in remembrance of my late father, and this has got a high-grade Candelaria that I purchased from the Odyssey. I believe Kenneth Odyssey, they own the mine, Candelaria. So this is one of my favorites.
Hello, my name is Toya. I am 17 years old from the Pueblo of Jemez. I started painting at a very young age, and for these paintings, I tried to do something that was different to what I usually do to get out of my comfort zone. Right here, there's a fairly recent one that is a favorite of mine. Here, this is faith. This spirit, this woman has a corn on her headdress here, which is symbolizing the faith that we put into the cornmeal when we pray and give our offerings. This is hope. And on her headdress, she has raindrops, where we always hope for rain here in the Southwest. And here, this spirit has a bear on her dress, headdress, which is symbolizes love. So this piece is called Faith, Hope, and Charity. And here on the baskets, at an angle, you have to look at to see that they have shiny blessings within them.
This one came out of the Keenman mine in Arizona, and this one is a Cripple Creek turquoise out of Colorado. So there are two different types of turquoise that came out of two different mines here. I do my own lapidary work, and I do all my own designs of everything, my own silversmith. So everything that's on here is all handmade by me. All the leaves, all the designs, everything.
So basically what I do is I kind of just get a shape and kind of just look to make sure that it covers all parts of it. And I just cut it out one piece at a time, kind of draw it out with the marker as I go, or kind of wiggle it in, fit it in. And sometimes it's a good fit, sometimes it's not. It's like some of the other pieces that don't fit, I'll move it around, switch it up. All the same mine, yeah, it's all Sonoran turquoise. I think I got about 5 or 6 different rocks of it, and I just kept cutting. And I really wanted a variety of colors, and I didn't want to have a certain area that had too much of one color, so I actually I jumped around when I inlaid it. I started at the top, then I went to the sides, and then I went from here to here to here to here until I got to the middle. My last piece I inlaid is that little tiny piece right here. I call it the key to the bracelet. Oh, they're all attached with epoxy resin. Yeah, including this one right here. There's a lot of water that, if you put water to sawdust, it tends to expand, and there's a lot of water required in inlaying. So I kind of stuck away from trying to put in any type of sawdust. I actually have, I think, little pieces of silver and some sawdust, and then a lot of epoxy resin. But I really made sure that fit really well before I put it in there, because that piece I had to put in first, the cab, before I inlaid any of this, because you can't damage any of the stones when you're setting that stone. You just gotta, you kind of figure out as you go. You learn how to use your tools in different ways. As you try something different, as you try different things in your lapidary work, you always figure out different ways. I like the tip of it. You look at the turquoise. This one I like because I have the rough texture into it, the natural texture. Pink mussel shell. That red is spiny oyster shell. You got your Arizona turquoise, and right on the other side of turquoise, it's not pink, it's actually mother of pearl. A little piece in there.
This lady here was sitting in that Art Deco chair, and I walked up to her and asked her, I said, "Don't move, and I'm gonna take your picture and paint it." And she goes, "Oh, okay." And it caught her at the right moment, and she smiled.
Each butterfly wing is hand formed and placed down individually, and it can be a really long process of attaching each wing. And it's done to make a piece, it's done in drying stages. So the piece has to be damp but not wet and not fully dry. So in order for the wing to stay on, otherwise if it's too dry, it's not gonna stay. If it's too wet, it's gonna sink into the pot. Like I said, drying stages, but I have to do it when I'm putting the pieces together, because if I let them sit, they dry on me, and then I can't attach the wings or anything on it. I enjoy putting the butterflies, especially underneath, but sometimes they don't make it. So I paint a piece and then I'm turning it and my finger will get caught on it and I'll rip it off, and I'm like, okay, I can't put that back on, so I guess no butterfly on that one. Even behind my plates, like this one for instance, I don't have no butterflies in front, but the butterfly is in back. Each piece is hand painted. It's all freehand. It's all fired as one piece. So after the wings are on and the piece is fully dry, then I have to go back and clean it. After I clean it, then I add the white slip. After I add the white slip, kind of gives it that shiny, like the shiny texture of it. So if you put it in the light, you can kind of see it a little bit. And after I do that, then I can start, I put my wings on first. Putting the wing on each butterfly it takes really long. Get all the wings on. So I try and work on more than one piece at a time, maybe 5 pieces, and work on them together. If they all have butterflies, the first thing I'll do is I'll put all the butterflies on first, and then I'll design around my butterflies. You never really know what it's gonna look like, and I have an idea of what I want to do, but once I start, it goes a totally different direction than what I picture. And sometimes that's also another reason why I work on more than one at a time, because sometimes I'll get stuck on a piece because I don't know what I want to put in a certain space or how I want to design it. So that's why I jump to another piece, and while I'm painting it, I come up with something like, okay, I think I want to do this and I did this on this piece. So.
My name is Suzanne Herrera Naranjo, and this piece is very special to me. It's made out of hand-spun wool, and it's also unique in that it's got a crochet edge line that's functional as well as decorative. It helps retain the shape of the neckline, and down here you have stars, and here you have prayers offered to our ancestors with natural springs and rain. And the black represents a heavy concentration of moisture. Down here, the pom-poms, this is a cloud ball and rain. And also featured here are crocheted ties. And I have a little signature that I want to show you on this piece. This is a crochet cloud ball. This year I went crazy with my little cloud balls. And this is a crochet crab stitch on this one, similar to here. But because the weave is a lot closer here, the crab stitch just looks more dainty and prominent there. And then these are clouds here. Represents cloud ball and rain. We're constantly in prayer for rain. So signifying that in a lot of garments is not uncommon. It's also on my men's leggings there. See the rain fringe? A variety of colors made with acrylic yarn, all hand spun. And my son wanted more earthy tones rather than the traditional red and green. So I put like this sandy orange clay color in there, and it really brought out the narrow line of turquoise. It's embroidered onto 14 rows per inch of monk's cloth. It's an even weave cloth. It's all 100% cotton. Before I even start the embroidery, I have to pre-shrink it, and it'll make the weave nice and tight. And then I'll stretch it out a bit as well before I embroider. And this is all hand spun with a leg spindle, because I can get really uniform consistency in spinning. This one took me close to 3 months. Yeah, these are warrior bars. This is rain. And then this represents the fertility area, natural spring. These are clouds. And this is rain coming down in sleets.
Okay, I'm Corey Stein, and I'm Tlingit native. I was born in Van Nuys, born in LA. My dad's from Brooklyn. My mom's from Wrangell, Alaska. And I started beading 20 years ago. And the first thing I ever beaded was a tomato truck. I thought it was a tomato truck. It turns out it was a gravel truck with tomato in it. So then I started doing this piece, the self-portrait. And this symbolizes my dad's side, and this symbolizes my mom's side. And this is the Tlingit Haida logo, and this is the Star of David on this side, on my dad's side. And the rose state flower of New York, and the forget-me-not state flower of Alaska. The backbone and the shoulder on that side and that side, and it's herring eggs on my mom's side up in Alaska, and pickled herring on my dad's side in Brooklyn, New York.
Of course I saw it.
And here's Brooklyn, New York, and here's Wrangell, Alaska. It's a little island up in the southeast. And here on my mom's side is the river running through Alaska and the varicose veins running through her leg. And the portraits I'm working on now are portraits of both men and women artists, specifically artists. This is William Wiley and Twitchell, who does all the murals in the public places in LA. And a friend of mine that I got a grant with. And here's a spoof on Cassatt. And this is, I turned it into 1972 when we lived in LA. And the oil spill, the background up here. I can show you this. I take a photograph and then I have it, you can see here the paper a little bit, that little white line. And I take and I put it on typing paper, and I take the typing paper and I set it, stitch a little thing in 4 corners, and then I just go straight over the typing paper, and it's like it hardens the felt and it makes it way easier to work with. And that's my cheat sheet. And you know what really affects it is if it's a bad photograph. And I take really bad photographs. If it's a bad photograph and it's too dark, it takes you 3 times as much time to figure it out. And same with that one. If you look real careful, you can see the black line and the black line.
Oh yeah. We know Patty. Patty and her are really good friends.
And this is my boyfriend and me.
My name is Adrian, standing out Pinnecoose, and I have Navajo and Southern Youth. And I do jewelry design and 2D graphics and fashion. And this year I am showing some of my new jewelry pieces that I've created this year using 3D process, as well as a new 2D style that I have done this year. And it is titled Celestial Beauty. And it is a take on the Supreme Court building, showing more indigenous representation within the political landscape. I first started doing the 2D graphics, and then from there it evolved into the jewelry design, and you could see the same vernacular language on how it translates in that same geometry that I use in my jewelry design. Yeah, so you could just see how the geometry evolves into a 3D wearable jewelry. And I really enjoyed the whole process and the whole connection between the two to see how they connect with each other.
My name is Jackie Larson Brett. I'm from Browning, Montana. I'm from the Blackfeet Nation, Amskapi, and I decided to do a horse mask this year. Our tribe was very renowned for their horse masks that were made out of buffalo heads, literally the full buffalo head. And if you can imagine having a horse coming at full gallop towards you with this buffalo mask on, so I called this We Are Fierce. And it had to have looked really fierce at that time. But I updated it, 21st centuried it to my liking. It's Angora fur, wool, size 15, 13 beads, hand-tan buckskin, brass beads, brass bells. And it's very different from what I normally bring. I am well known for my portraiture.
Good morning. My name is Tony Tiger. I'm from Oklahoma. I am in Plaza 43, and so this is one of my pieces. So it's a process of printmaking. So photo etching, seriograph, ink, and acrylic paint with hand cut stencil. And so this is part of a series that I'm working on right now. I'm currently showing at the Ringling Museum in Sarasota, Florida, Reclaiming Home, Seminole Contemporary Art. And so this is one of my favorite pieces. And so it speaks about the relationship with sports, our old sporting games, which is stickball. My grandfather, who went to high school, played basketball, football, ran track, and then also I ran track, played football, and just loved it. So this is one of my favorite pieces, and I'm glad to be in Santa Fe.
This one is about 8 months of actual weaving, about 3 years of gathering materials. It's a kind of a
a Raggedy Ann doll of sorts of wool fibers. We have Lincoln, we have Corriedale, we have Navajo Churro, we have both merino and rambouillet I sheared myself, and commercial available, hand spun, mill spun, and just for some of the finishing, even commercial spun. Just showing the testament of the adaptability of Navajo weavings. You can throw any sort of beginning material and still come out with an excellent weaving. And it's made in a two-face count, which most weavers around the world call a double weave. So I'm weaving two pieces at once. So you'll see a color pattern on one side, the reverse color on the other side, where I have red substituting white on the reverse. And it's made in a very rare horizontal slit poncho, so that the stripes are actually up and down when you wear it, as opposed to stripes being horizontal. It's something that we've only heard in our oral traditions of how to make these garments. And that's what I've been using, primary Navajo language, because the language is so exact and how things are made. You can break down the words to figure out how it was made. And that's how I got this one. So it is called Bad Moon Rising. The front side with the white and black stripe dominant is called Early Dawn Blanket. And the back side is the Night Darkness Blanket. So it has the juxtaposition of, it is the beginning and the end, kind of like a statement of how our cycles are cyclical. So end times mean new beginnings. So world philosophy is that there's only one destruction and nothing after that. Whereas in Navajo philosophy, it's always just a new beginning. So that's why the name's Bad Moon Rising. You know, I love CCR, and I love how apocalyptic his lyrics are, but to me, they're lyrics of hope. I did find some early Swedish lithographs. There was an expedition, I want to mispronounce his name, Strord or Norge, something like that, where he made visual descriptions with quick sketches, and a few decades after he took his notes, he had the artist draw up his renders. So there are some early color versions where there are warriors wearing black and white, black and red, women wearing the same variants. A lot of that gets misnomers because it's a controversial word, is moki blankets, but narrow stripe blankets. So there are female, male versions, all sorts of times of day, all sorts of lunar cycles. All of those weavings have their own patterns and existence.
My name's Diane Cody Haungooah. I am a member of the Dine Kiowa tribes. I have two grandsons, and I started making cradle boards 15 years ago. This cradle board here is my older grandson's. It took me 3 months to finish this. And then this cradle board, as a grandmother, I wanted him to have a good life. So on here, these teepees, these are for all the relatives that he may stay connected. And these roots here, they represent our ancestors that he may remember always that where he comes from. And our sun, I'm also a sun dancer. So the sun's very special to me. It's very sacred. And then I have eagles. A lot of our prayers, they're very sacred to us. They're our messengers. And here I have the holy men, the spiritual leaders, the pipe carriers, and I also, these are our men that take care of us and our warriors. There's buffaloes here, and on this side I have elk, and these are our relatives. And we're very spiritual, and these are our hills. In the springtime, we go on these hills, and we have our vision quests, and we have spiritual guidance on these hills. So these are very sacred, and this here represents the mountains. This is for a little boy. I made him a little horse so that he may always remember these horses are sacred to us. And here, our plants. These represents the plants that I had mentioned earlier that we use in so many things in ceremony. And the heart, that we may always use it. And the buffaloes, they've been with us for generations. And a lot of ceremonies, we work with buffaloes. And then the eagle, there's a feather here. So this cradle board, I named Buffalo Dreamer. It's for a little boy. This is a woman's prayer bag. So this says the Acoma. That means a woman in prayer. And this leaf here is an oak leaf. So back when we were at war fighting for our people, they say in our creation story, we came out of a cotton tree. And there were our enemies that were coming, and this oak tree fell over. And this tree, back then we used to communicate with plants and animals. This tree told the people to hide behind the tree so it would take care of them. And that tree told them to always remember us. So this is where that comes from. So this helped our nation. And then here, of course, there's another horse. This buckskin horse, to me, as I'm a horse. I grew up around horses, so this horse is very special to me. So I put him on here, and the women in my family, we've always ridden horses, so that's where it comes from. And this here represents cedar that we pray with. And all these colors, they're all sacred. And I have abalone shells. And then here, I have a horse mask. And they say a long time ago, there was that Missouri River. I guess there was scouts hunting, and there was a water pool that was circling and circling, and these warriors kept looking at it, and they couldn't understand what was going on. So out of that water, it rose up, and then the clouds and the thunder beams, they all came. And when that water rose up, a horse was on that water. So they belonged to the thunder beams and the water. So that horse got on the land, and they were watching him because they didn't know what kind of a creature that was. And here it ate grass. So they knew it was sacred. So they went back to camp, and they said, we need to make a song for these. They didn't have a name for it yet. And they said, we need to have a song, and we need to have prayers. So the holy man told them that this animal was here to help the people. So they helped us through generations. But before that, there were dogs that helped us. And they used to carry, when we'd move camp to camp in teepees, they were our helpers. So these horses, they're very sacred. So on here, that medicine man, the holy people found out that right in the center of the horse, there's a circle. You know, if you ever look at a horse. And this horse's message was to tell us, always remember your prayers and keep the ceremony going. So this is where that comes from, and this represents our lifestyle. And of course, there's plants again with our prayers and our compassionate hearts and how we value life. And this represents the water here. And then the bees, I have bumblebees here, and they give us they have a lot to do with life. And then the 4 directions, and this represents the clouds and all the 4 direction colors. And there's 4 of these, so these represents the 4 quarters of the universe.